Welcome back to TheChowTimePod. It's your host, Red. And video today from It's Complicated channel. Men hate men too. I was wondering about this topic. A lot of men do hate on other men. Please like, comment, subscribe down below. I really appreciate that. Let's go to that chow. It's chow time.
Why is misandry only identified when it comes from women?
Oh yeah, because dudes be hating on other dudes too. I don't know. That's a good question.
It is.
Is there more of a mutual brotherhood between men or a mutual sisterhood between women?
There's a mutual brotherhood for sure. It's bros before hoes.
I want to say that the sisterhood is much stronger than the brotherhood. The brotherhood is strong if the men in the brotherhood have gone through things together. But random men are not so great with that. But women can be any random woman and sisterhood will spring into action.
Sisterhood between women, that's super easy. Women love they women, they hug each
Yep.
other, BFFs, go around the world, take trips with them. Come on now.
So why do we have
Agreed.
the expression bros before hoes?
Because, I mean, if they got each other like how they got them, we got to put them before, you know what I'm saying? We got to put them before because they going to put us before them type shit. You know what I'm saying?
Why do women support other women when they shouldn't, and men don't support other men when they should?
Girl code.
Women empowerment is bull crap. There is no women empowerment. It's always bros before hoes.
How can that be true when we have the expression bros over hoes?
But we have sisters before misters.
Why are men quick to label each other weak, simps, and beta males when they see each other get violated?
Toxic male culture.
Because it's all about dominance. Like, they trying to be the alpha big dog in everything. They don't care if it's your homie.
Maybe they think it's weak to be violated. Maybe they pops violated somebody and made them think that it's weak to be violated. You can look at it from a sociological standpoint, a psychological standpoint. It really just depend on how deep you want to dive into it.
In the long run, most of the time,
There's so much in depth into it because of why men treat other men the way we do and why we look down at other men way more harshly than we ever look down on women for certain actions. It's ingrained into a lot of men. It's not even just our culture in the West here. Almost all cultures view a weak man as a weak man.
men judge each other based on appearance, status, money, how many women you got. You know, there's always this constant thing where men are in a race against each other.
I think that's the biggest thing, is that men understand we are competing with each other and we are in competition. Women don't seem to realize this, or they don't want to acknowledge this. I'm sure they actually realize it. They just don't acknowledge it. They still want to play fair because I think this is more of because they can't beat up other women like that or beat up whatever they want and get what they want other than through reputation destruction, innuendos, the usual sign language stuff.
Why is shaming women seen as hate while shaming men is seen as motivation?
I don't know. It's just one of those double standards that's just how it is.
Yep.
Because there's a stigma placed on men that when we are throwing jabs at each other, we're helping our men get stronger. But when it's women, their emotions are involved and they just see it as we're downing someone.
Why aren't they both considered hate?
Because men, regardless of what is being propagated out there, men are the most powerful of the gender, so to speak, right?
Yep.
So when you're in the top position, you're not afforded the right to complain. It's just like if we look in terms of race in America, right? When you look at the most dominant race, you can't claim racism, right? Because you're the most dominant race. So, and it's the same, so it works the same way. It's unfair, but it's just one of those double standards.
He makes total sense. Even if you are racist to white people, they really can't claim it because They're scared to because of how everything is.
There's too much hate going on. You know what I'm saying? Like, I like to focus on the love. You know, the hate be coming from resentment and jealousy. And if everybody get money, then we ain't really got no reason to hate on everybody because we can do what we want to do and be with who we want to be with, you know?
Why isn't the solution to women's problems to just be better like it is for men?
It's sad to say, but women don't have to be better in this society, is what they
That was a
claim.
great
Women are
answer.
judged by looks, personality, etc.
Because
They don't have to be. Fuck. That's how simpy and how much men settle. We don't even care if they're better. We'll still sleep with them. We'll still wife them up.
live in a fantasy world. You know, they got the whole Cinderella thing going on and everything. Women don't necessarily want to believe that they have to do better. Of course, it's just the world that's going on around them.
Why is misandry only identified when it comes from women?
Oh, yeah, because dudes be hating on other dudes, too. I don't know. That's a good question.
Man, you know, because I don't think men really focus that much on the hate like how the women do.
I
You
think,
know,
yeah.
women really like be.
I agree with this gentleman, like that we don't really focus too much on the neuroticism of these words and stuff. Words are just words, majority of for men.
Locked in with the hate, like this girl hate me, that thing hate me, the groups and everything. Men, we more so like, you know, not worried about it. Don't make a big deal of it.
How can the manosphere acknowledge that misandry exists while never seeing men as victims of it?
You can't. You first have to have people acknowledge that.
What's the difference between calling a man a beta male and telling him he's not a real man?
Nothing. Tell the truth, he got me there. Nothing. It's pretty much saying the same thing to him.
I'm going to give you a term for saying you weak, or I'm going to just flat out say you weak.
There's certain things that make you not a real man. Be a stand-up man at all times. Real men are not real. I mean, weak men are not real men.
What are the signs of a man who's weak?
Lack of confidence.
Why don't women shame each other for being alpha and beta females the same way that men shame each other for being alpha and beta males?
Because they too worried about trying to find the yin to their yang instead of trying to identify what the other woman is or not. We men too worried about sticking our chest out and trying to identify other males so then we can identify the women that we want. We worried about two different things, basically.
Yeah.
Why are men so concerned with other men being masculine or not? Are women concerned whether other women are feminine or not?
We're not concerned. Men just have this complex.
Can you elaborate on that a little bit?
Men are more insecure about their masculinity. Women are more concerned about raising each other up.
Men, you know, the bro code. Women, we don't care. We lift each other up.
I think it comes from...
Do you hear that? They don't care. I think that is the part where they don't care what they do. We're still going to lift them up. That's the problem with the sisterhood.
How we're raised, and we're supposed to be big macho men, and I think that puts us as males against each other because we're fighting for women, right?
No, resources, everything, it's always been that way. Yes, we're always competing. And the top echelon men compete harder than most of the other men. And that's, generally true.
Why wasn't that part of the women's movement, but it is part of the men's movement?
Because women needed to come up. So maybe they ain't have as much time to be against the other woman for a certain period of time as we had to be against the other men. They more so had to band together to get things done that they needed done, you know?
No, but that pressure is a part of the women's movement as well.
How so?
Look at how much money is spent in nail salons and in hair salons. Like, there's extensions being put in women of all races' hair.
Yep.
It's not because they want to feel good about themselves. No, they want to impress other men, and they want to show other women that they are superior to them. So
it's the way that women are showing that they're more superior to other women is how much money they got, how much money they're spending on their looks, how much money they're spending on their lifestyle.
They're going to walk in with the highest heels. They're going to walk in with the tightest pair of jeans, right? They're going to want the most attention because that puts them above the rest. And it's the same way with men.
Why do men believe that just because you're anti-feminist, that somehow means that you're pro-men,
That's true, because pro-black is an anti-white.
Why are women able to unite and create a standard for men, but men can't unite and create a standard for women?
Sexism.
Could it be because men are pitted against each other to compete for women?
I think that's very accurate.
Can you elaborate on that?
Well, I mean, men are traditionally supposed to, be going for the woman, and
Women expect the whole world. If you're not giving them nothing, they're not going.
Could it be because men are pitted against each other to compete for women?
Yes, absolutely, indeed.
Status, symbol, money. What do you have to offer?
Resources.
But the problem with that is that, men put each other down just to get women who really could care less about, that man in general. And it becomes from the fragile ego.
Are men more likely to compete for the majority of women, or are women more likely to compete for the minority of men?
men compete for the majority of women.
Women are more likely to compete with the minority of men.
Why?
Because there's a minority of men that are most desirable to the majority of women. And that's just facts. The majority of men will seek out the majority of women.
True. Why are men pitted against each other to compete for women?
Because we got to know who's big, strong ape. It's very important.
I think it's almost an animal instinct at this point.
Survival of the fittest is just our natural biology.
I agree.
The same way sperm compete against each other to make it to the egg first. The same way every other biological species out there
I really like this gentleman right
compete and compete for women to breed. And guess what? Women compete to attract the male species as well. I mean, if it's, flamboyant colors in their feathers or their
hair.
Special, mating dance that they do, they're doing that to attract men.
What's the difference between men pitted against each other on the micro level versus men pitted against each other to compete in war?
No difference.
There's a big difference because when you're competing in war, you're killing people. So your life is on the line.
We want to show that we're the most powerful. We want the spoils that come along with it, right? We want the respect that comes along with it. And it's the same way with men on the micro level. Hey, we get that hot chick that everyone wants. Hey, we want to let people know that, hey, I deserve that respect, or hey, I'm the most powerful. This is why she wants me. So it's the same thing. It's just at a different scale.
Why do we blame the male gender for causing war and violent crime when men are the biggest victims of war and violent crime?
Again, social standard says man goes to war, man protects.
Because they're the only ones in war.
We're the ones that fight.
Everyone sees men as the protectors, so I guess they automatically assume that means we're the one causing the fight, seeing that that's our job.
Aren't we dragged into those fights?
Yes, we've always been dragged in for those fights by the government. That's a great question.
So then why would we be blamed for something that we're forced into?
Because we'd have to ask the non-logical thinkers on that one.
They join the army, war, whatever they got going on. This is war out here. This is psychological warfare.
Who hates men more, women or other men?
Shit.
Other women.
Women.
If men don't hate men, why are men not supporting other men who fight for men's rights?
Because men hate men.
What more rights we need?
Damn. I didn't even think about that. Men that hate on me for speaking out for men's issues and men's right. What's wrong with me speaking out about men's rights? Fucking haters.
Custody of our children?
They're afraid to because of what women will think about them.
If men don't hate men, why would they create laws that favor women at the expense of men?
I don't know. They just want the man to be in charge, be responsible to pay for everything.
If men don't hate men, why aren't they supporting other men who fight for men's rights?
Well, I'm not a man, so I suppose you'd have to ask them.
If men and women both hate men, how can men's issues ever be heard?
Wow.
Speak up.
Damn.
Some of us have to take the choice and stand up and speak for us.
Man, listening to all of this makes me feel a little bit more proud of what I do. Like, I feel, I guess, a little validated. I'm not saying that I'm doing this for validation, but it gives me that validation. That's like, oh, yeah, okay.
If everyone hates men, why don't men deserve protection more than women?
Everybody deserves equal protection.
Why do people think that men can't be victims of a society that was built by men?
We definitely can, because this society that was built for men maybe wasn't beneficial for every man. So I could feel that.
Men are victims of society every day.
Would women not be victims in a society if women made the laws?
No, everyone is bound to be a victim of some circumstance.
How can feminists say men are privileged at the same time men are victims of the patriarchy?
Delusion.
Yeah.
Why are women seen as bigger victims of men than men are victims of other men?
Men are traditionally predatory.
Because the statistics show that most crimes against women are always done by a man.
Because they believe that since we're stronger, that we should be able to protect ourselves, and since they're more feminine and weak, that it gives them that they're, by definition, the victim.
If we acknowledge that the family courts are stacked against men, how are men not seen as victims of that system?
Men are victims of that system.
Men are definitely victims of those laws. Look about all the people who's paying child support for girls who don't even do nothing but want to check.
People try to turn a blind eye to that because they don't want to see the problem. We live in a society in general who tries to band-aid the problem instead of uncovering it and fixing it.
Real men are made from suffering because you're a bitch. You're a fucking bitch because you're a fucking loser. And you don't deserve to be invited to shit. You don't deserve to get your fucking dick sucked. You don't deserve to go on dates with girls. You're a...
In some ways, I agree with this because I grew up in this generation where, yeah, if you didn't do anything, you didn't push yourself to be top of what you can be, you're nothing. My parents have always kind of instilled this. Again, I told you guys how my dad's views. When you have money, everybody wants to be your friend. When you don't have money, no one looks your way. There is a difference between status and money. And most men should be pursuing this.
Fucking loser. Stop being a bitch.
If red pill creators can't see men as victims, how can they be advocates for men?
They can't.
Outside of feminists, is there anyone who condemns?
I agree with you. It's complicated. You got me. No, I acknowledge that men are victims in majority of these things. You are pointing it out much greatly on this particular video. Shout outs to you for that. So I will be more mindful.
Men more than these red pill alpha men?
Let's see.
This is the part where I come in. I'm a little bit more compassionate about things. You know, I try to be empathetic. And even then, when I view men that just don't do anything or just want to just play video games all day and do all these, I view them lesser. Even though, yes, technically they kind of could be the victims of how society propagated them to be. Again, gonna have to rethink some things.
Not to my knowledge, no.
So then why are men supporting these people?
I think a lot of people are followers and not leaders.
True.
Which of the following is more forbidden? To question the victimhood of women or to even suggest the victimhood of men?
To question the victimhood of women.
Yeah.
Why?
We are traditionally oppressed. I'm wearing a safety ring tonight for a reason.
What is a safety ring?
I'm not married or engaged.
So that means that you'll wear a wedding ring to repel somebody?
Yes.
In society, the first one is more forbidden.
Why?
Because that's the way that they've established it, and it's wrong because it's not manlike to speak up against women.
If red pill creators can't see men as victims, how can they be advocates for men?
It seems to me that they just want to profit off of men's suffering.
So what's the
Ouch. I 100% agree with a lot of that right there. This is why I'm not a big fan of Fresh and Fit and just how about they go about most of their content. I give them their props. Fresh and Fit is probably one of the bigger channels, was the bigger channels, and they've done great things. But they're also not the greatest thing to fight for men also.
difference between OnlyFans creators exploiting lonely men for money and alpha male dating coaches exploiting lonely men for money?
No difference.
They're both the same.
Yeah.
I guess one just doesn't get naked to do it.
Cause OnlyFans ain't exploiting no man for no money. You dig what I'm saying? That market is there. Pimping ain't dead, it just moved to the web. So you feel me? They just taking advantage of what's going on, and it's a market for it. If it's a supply, it's a demand. So all you gotta get in where you fit in.
The moral of the story is you should exploit lonely men for money.
If society has a problem with men being the way they are, why didn't they say anything decades ago? Why were they silent?
Because they were betas. Is that funny?
No, I 100% agree that men are victims, but the other side of that, even though that men are victims, men are the only ones that can pull themselves out of that victimhood, pull themselves out of their own position. So I get for men, I believe it's just more harshness towards each other, but I get it. Please like, comment, subscribe down below. I really appreciate that. And catch you guys next time.